Oregon football just found a huge advantage going into the Indiana game. Let's talk about it. My name's Paul. Together with my buddy Aaron, we are the Big Ten guys. Tune in every day for the latest Big Ten news, insights, analysis. If you're a fan of Oregon or any Big Ten football team, this is the channel for you. So don't miss out. Take just a quick sec. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Got a lot more Oregon content coming. Oregon fans or Indiana fans, if you're watching this, take just a quick second before I get going and do me a solid. Reply in the comments your prediction for this Saturday's game between two top 10 teams. I think it's going to be an awesome one, and I always love to, banter back and forth with fellow college football fans. So let me know what you think. And I'll let you know in this video what I think. And then just Indiana fans, I have to tell you, if you're watching this, I think Indiana is a top 10 team. They deserve to be a top 10 team. I think they will make the playoffs this year. So when I say some things you might not love, don't take it as I think Indiana's garbage and overrated. I really think Oregon has one big time advantage going into this game. So let's talk about it. Right now, the advanced analytics have Oregon favored by quite a bit. ESPN's FPI has Indiana as the number 4 team in the country, but they still give a 69% chance, 69.4% chance for Oregon to win this game. And then this is Sports Illustrated here. They predict a 35-24 win for Oregon, so a win and a cover. But something they brought up, and I looked into it a little more deeply myself, is Fernando Mendoza and this Indiana team and how they've responded on the road. And don't get me wrong, every quarterback in the country is going to have different splits when they're on the road, especially when they play top 10 teams. That's just, of course, you're going to play better against worse opponents. You're going to play better at home. But I really think this is what's going to decide this game. So looking at Fernando Mendoza's stats this year, pretty impressive. That Illinois just dog wash was one of the best games I've ever seen a quarterback play. But it was in Bloomington. They're going to be in Eugene. And you look at the following week against Iowa, and the numbers aren't quite as pretty. You see 13 of 23, 233 yards, only completed 56% of their passes. He had a 67.9 QBR in that game, his worst game of the season. And, don't get me wrong, Iowa has a good defense. Iowa's Iowa. It's a tough place to play. But I think Oregon's defense is better. And I think Oregon is a tougher stadium to play in. Whereas on the flip side, you look at Dante Moore, and every game he's played has been a good one so far, but I have said many times on this channel, there is no more difficult game in the Big Ten than the night game whiteout at Penn State. And he balled out in that one. Completed 75% of his passes almost, 3 touchdowns to no picks, 250 yards, 35 rushing yards. They tried to take his head off. He didn't even get the targeting call, but that didn't matter. Still won the game. He proved he can win the big game on the road in the hostile environment. And Fernando Mendoza hasn't yet. Not to say he won't. Maybe he pulls one out, and he'll get a chance in Happy Valley later this year too. And I think Indiana, especially after what we saw from Penn State last week, I think Indiana should be able to win that game. But this isn't the only time he's done that. He actually, believe it or not, has played at Oregon before. And now it has to be said, of course, this Cal team he played on is nowhere near as talented as the Indiana team he's on. But still, again, you see him go on the road against a top 10 team, and he had his worst game of the season by far, a 12 QBR against Oregon. They lost 63-19, only completed 52.9% of his passes, turned the ball over, and it was a rough outing. And it hasn't just been like that. Like, this isn't just a Fernando Mendoza issue either.
Look at these results. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It turns the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds discrepancies across the sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you bet $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50, win or lose. It's that simple. With OddsJam mobile app, you will get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and you can get started. Use promo code BIG10GUYS, one word, for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't cancel with one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com. Use promo code BIG10GUYS, one word, and start making money the smart way.
Indiana's kind of had this issue in recent years. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time and pull up when the last time Indiana won a huge road game against a ranked opponent, just because pre-Kurt Signasty era, Indiana didn't win a whole lot of games against anyone. This is a different team. This is a team that's going to win big games. They're going to be playing in big games. I think they're a playoff team this year, crazy talented. So I'm only going to look at these Kurt Signetti games. But last year, it was kind of the same thing where they won a lot of their games by a lot of points. I think if I go back here a minute, I can show you their whole schedule. It was similar to this year where they were just destroying teams, 77-3. And then some of these games, like Nebraska was pretty solid last year. They demolished them at home. They beat Michigan at home, and that was when Michigan was really starting to piece their season together and become the team that beat Ohio State on the road and that beat Alabama. They beat Washington pretty handily at home. But then they go on the road against Ohio State and they lose by 3+ touchdowns. Couldn't beat Notre Dame on the road either. Obviously, those two teams played for the national championship, so not a lot of teams beat them, but it's a pattern that you see with both Fernando Mendoza's career and with Kurt Signetti's career at Indiana, as they haven't been able to get over the hump and win the big-time game on the road. And you look at Curtis Rourke in this game, and of course, I'll be the first to tell you, Fernando Mendoza is better than Curtis Rourke. A lot of people think he could be the number one pick in the draft, but Curtis Rourke is a solid quarterback. He had a very good season last year, but in that big-time road game, just an abomination of a game. Their 2 touchdown drives, they kind of were aided by penalties quite a bit on him, and he had 70% of his yards just on those 2 drives. The rest of the game, Indiana didn't do anything. And obviously, Ohio State, they were elite last year. They were, they won the Natty. We know all that. But they got beat pretty soundly by them. And then it's just tough to, I feel like until we see Indiana win that big-time road game, I'm just not going to trust them there. Not yet. I trust that they're a top 12 team. I trust that they're going to go to the playoffs again this year. They're going to, beat some teams pretty badly the rest of the year like they did to Illinois. But Oregon has proven they can win these games. Dan Lanning has proven it. Dante Moore has proven it. Whereas on the other side of the ball, you just haven't seen it from Fernando Mendoza yet, and you haven't seen it from Curt Cignetti yet. So I think that is the big advantage that Oregon has this week. And like I'll say that even if this was like on a neutral field, or maybe even in Indiana, but this is in one of the toughest stadiums to play in. Indiana's got to go all the way out to Eugene, Oregon, and do something that I'm just not quite sure they're ready for yet. So Indiana fans, I know I'm going to get beef from you in the comments, and that's okay. I hope you know I respect you. I think this is going to be a good game. I'm not calling a blowout, but I think Oregon is more proven in a game like this than Indiana is, and I trust them in it. I'm going to say 38-27 Oregon. 38-24 Oregon. I think it's close. Midway through the second quarter, Oregon goes up 10 at half and then just kind of stays up in between the 10 and 20 range rest of the game, and it's not really in doubt. That's my prediction. You give me yours, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.